some people, especially in the post-colonial and decolonial spaces, they have come to the conclusion that it was the otherness within European thinking that led to violence, and therefore they bristle at every other sort of intellectual enterprise, even such as Islam, who also identifies others. The other for the Muslim is the kafir, or even the mushrik, right? Now, with a European baggage, with European experience, that makes the decolonial and post-colonial thinker uneasy, because they assume that now that requires violence, right? But what we're saying is that the otherness that other societies and other civilizations did sort of partake in never resulted in the type of violence that the European otherness did. And so is it really simply, and we talked about this in the previous video about he has this sort of fourfold model, proximity and distance. Yeah, Said's assumption is that distance and othering necessitates violence. And we look at history and say, no, it doesn't. Lots of civilizations have come and gone who have had others, who have had distance, who have even had stereotypes, and let's even say bigotry towards other groups. And that didn't result in genocide. And it didn't result in epistemicide. It didn't result in wiping out their way of knowing the world. So what gives? What is it about Europe and European colonization and modern colonization that is different, unique, that makes that made that sort of happen? That's what Halak is driving at. He says it's the structure of knowledge entirely. He quotes Said saying that that European Orientalism isn't, in fact, unique, that it was done by every power and every sort of advanced culture. So again, Said kind of waffles. He does say at one point that Orientalism is a Western style of domination, but then he contradicts himself with much more language that indicates an explicit language saying that Orientalism is something that is not unique, that is every advanced culture has participated in it. He goes back to ancient Greece. He conflates it with bigotry. He conflates it with all these sorts of other sort of more innocent things. And there's reasons for that, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a bit. Halak says this is ahistorical. And it doesn't even make sense when it comes to the coherence of his argument. Why then single out Western Orientalism for critique? If Orientalism existed in ancient Greece, why not critique the Orientalism of ancient Greece? If Orientalism or something like it existed in ancient China, then why single out European modern Orientalism for critique? Why not? Why are we critiquing all these other Orientalisms at the same time? They didn't exist. That's why. Why not point to other examples, which he doesn't, because they don't exist? And to make a qualitative distinction, which he doesn't, Said's basic argument is that the only thing that distinguishes these is a quantitative distinction. That, your modern European Orientalism, it does it a lot more, and a lot more ubiquitous, which again misunderstands the structure of knowledge that we're talking about here. Halak says rather, Orientalism is merely a symptom of modern knowledge. It is not the cause, it is the symptom. And a particular type of knowing the world that is based on power, and a specific definition of that, we'll get into it, that this is unique, it is qualitatively different to everything that came before. It has a singular structure that is discernible from other structures of knowledge or other ways of knowing the world that we still have today. Islam is a structure of knowledge, among other things. It's a way of knowing the world. We can look at it. We can go into the books. We can study it. And it is very, very qualitatively different than the Western Enlightenment, post-Enlightenment way of knowing the world.